Chapter 2 of Moon Knight has arrived, and this week's episode featured a quicker pace, great character interactions, and expanded on the Stephen Marc backstory. And real quick, if you haven't done so already, be sure to check out my review on Chapter 1 of Moon Knight. Having transformed into Moon Knight and pulverizing an Egyptian jackal in the bathroom of the art gallery he works at the end of the last episode, Stephen wakes up in his bed again confused as to whether or not the events that took place were real or not. Stephen returns to work to look at security footage of his jackal encounter from the last episode, only to see that the jackal doesn't show up on the security footage. Unfortunately, he's let go by his employer and referred to seek mental help for his condition. Now, if you remember in the pilot episode, Stephen discovered a key hidden in the walls of his place. The key, as it turns out, belongs to its storage locker owned by Marc. Oh, and a real quick side note, I think QR codes placed in each episode is brilliant, and I hope they continue to show up as it's fun to be on the lookout for them and it creates an interactive aspect to the show. The links take you to a digital Marvel comic featuring Moon Knight, and again, I just think this is really cool, brilliant marketing. In the storage locker, Stephen finds some of Marc's possessions, including the scarab, a gun, and a passport with the name Marc Spector. This scene kind of reminded me of when Matt Damon opens his safety deposit box in The Bourne Identity. You remember.
The red bag, stop right there!
Great movie. Anyways, it's in this storage locker that Stephen and Marc begin to really interact with each other via reflective walls. Here we learn that Marc is the avatar of Khonshu, the Egyptian moon god. Marc informs Stephen that they are to protect the vulnerable and deliver Khonshu's justice to those who hurt them. And it becomes really clear that Marc wants control of Stephen's body, which causes Stephen to run out of the storage locker where Khonshu is waiting in the halls. I gotta say, I thought this scene was awesome and created some real tension. The use of strobing lights and shadows created a creepy moment that was all done really well and I was able to imagine myself being in. The scene is topped off by an amazing scream from Stephen. I mean, no disrespect, I would have been terrified too, but the scream gave me a great laugh and brought the tension down. On his panicky escape from Khonshu, Stephen runs into Layla, who gives him a ride to safety. Layla turns out to be Marc's partner and soon-to-be ex-wife and has no idea who the Stephen persona is. I found this rather interesting as it makes me wonder exactly how much time has Marc spent inhabiting Stephen's body. I mean, long enough to fall in love, get married, have adventures, and file for a divorce? So is Stephen the alternate personality, or is Marc? Stephen and Layla's conversation is interrupted by a knock at the door from Arthur Harris' followers, disguised as law enforcement, asking Stephen to answer for the destruction of the bathroom from the jackal encounter. Arthur's followers essentially kidnap Stephen and bring him to Arthur. The two proceed to walk and talk around the culty little neighborhood, with Arthur knowing a lot about Stephen's situation. We get a lot of answers in this scene, and during this conversation, Arthur explains to Stephen that he was once Khonshu's avatar and possessed the same power that he does. Ultimately, Arthur wants the scarab as it is a compass leading to the tomb of Ammit so he may resurrect her. Ammit's methods are punished before the act is done, essentially killing an innocent person, in a very Minority Reportian kind of way. Arthur also reveals that his cane possesses a sliver of Ammit's power, just as Layla arrives to help Stephen, and by planting it in the ground, summons another one of those damn Egyptian jackals. Bastards. The jackal that most cannot see pursues Stephen and Layla, and as Stephen falls from a window due to a hit from it, he summons the suit, but in a different form. Mr. Knight, a version of Moon Knight in a suit and tie with Stephen still in the driver's seat of the body. He does manage to fend off the jackal for a minute or two, but his lack of experience requires Marc's assistance once again. Stephen relinquishes control of the body to Marc and transforms into Moon Knight to defeat the jackal. This scene was really cool and it showcased the suit and character's physical abilities in a rooftop pursuit and featured some amazing shots. Now I do have to mention, Khonshu looms over the entire episode, harassing both Stephen and Marc. Khonshu holds control over Marc by threatening to take Layla as his replacement should he not comply. After defeating the jackal, Marc realizes he has lost the scarab, and of course, Arthur is the one who finds it. The episode closes with Khonshu sending Marc to Egypt. We see you, Oscar Isaac. Overall, the second chapter featured great interactions between Stephen and Marc and answered a lot of questions held over from the pilot. The introduction of the Mr. Knight persona is a fun, quirky addition to the character's schizo arsenal. And imagery in this episode will most certainly populate desktop backgrounds for years to come. Oh, and I also have to comment on how visually engaging the closing credit sequence is. Artistic and expertly done. Again, overall, I'm really enjoying this series and I'm eagerly awaiting the next entry. And don't forget to check out my review of Chapter 1 of Moon Knight, now up on the channel. But what do you guys think of Moon Knight so far? Are you into it or do you think it underdelivers? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Hey, thanks as always so much for stopping by. Be sure to like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. You can find me on all social medias at DoReviewMovies, and as always, I'm David O, and we're done here.